One of the more complex problems with the data that comes out of the BIM models is when the data you're looking for isn't contained in the tables. One of the things you'll notice is that in Revit files there is no structural weight data, and that's one of the main things that you'd be looking for. So, how do we get the weight? Well, if you use the pivot table generator and you select, say, structural columns, you can sort the data by type, and then you can say add steel weight and surface area. So there's a couple things that you got to realize that the way these are calculated, they're not exact, but they're pretty close. You know, they give you a good rough estimate that is within reason of what you would expect if you had to manually do all the calculations. Another thing that's in this is you could also remove the empty column. So if there is no data in there, do you really need it? Do you care about seeing it? It just makes sorting later easier if you don't have empty columns. So I'm going to turn on the generate the weight and surface area of steel. I'm going to say that the weight is about 495. I think typically they say it's 490 pounds per cubic feet, but from the from the manual calculations, we've been finding that 495 actually gives a little bit better estimate because of the way the software trims off the edges and that type of thing. So to get the volume correct, it seems to work a little better with 495. So I hit the make pivot table, and you'll notice that each of the structural steel members is now listed in this list because I use type, and I can come in and say I want to know how many of them there are. So now I have a count of each one, and if I want to know the weight, I just drag the weight into the values, and you'll have to pay attention to what's in here. This is the sum of the weight, so that's good, and there's a count of the type. The other thing that I also might want is the count of the surface area. No, I don't want the count of the surface area. I want to actually set the value of the sum of the surface areas. And you got to realize how the way the surface area is calculated is basically taking 4 times the width and 2 times the height to generate the surface area of each member. So some things that may not have as much surface area, or some things may have more. But this tool really gives you a quick way to get a good rough estimate.